All right, welcome back to Sōlchemy, everybody. My name's Mackenzie. I'm a certified hypnotherapist and a past life healer. Today, I have a dear friend and channeler, Kristen Hancock's with us today. And she got introduced to me through a friend because she was looking to practice on some people. And I was like, yeah, I'll do it. It's fine. We'll see what happens. I had zero expectations. In fact, I didn't even know what I wanted to work on when it came to the channel session. It was just she channel spirit. I'm like, okay. And I was crying by the end of the session. Like all this stuff came up. It was just so spot on. Like spirit used it as an opportunity to like get my butt in gear with some stuff I was dealing with that I kept kind of pushing under the rug. And she's just so incredibly talented. So I'm like, okay, you have to get inside my program. She works with me with my clients inside the Alchemist. So now I want to like broadcast her out here today. So Kristen, if you would like to introduce yourself and just let everyone know what you do.
Yeah, sure. So yes, it's been about a year now, and I went through a program myself to kind of uncover gifts. I had a lot of intuitive signs, but prior to that, I did a lot of Kundalini yoga for years. And then during COVID, I did a lot of breath work, like every Saturday night, because I had nothing else to do. And then I started getting these signs, and I went through my own mentorship. I have a mentor. And so what I do is it keeps changing. But I have a lot of guides, spirit guides, and they range from angelic realms to kind of interdimensional beings. And there seem to be a fair amount. And I read the Akashic Records, and I take my guides in, and we get commentary. So we'll like pull out a life that's pertinent to the person's, like if they're having a big issue come up or they're stuck somewhere. And then my guides will go in, we'll look at the life. It can take a while. But I'm getting faster, but it still takes a while. And then we have a commentary, and then sometimes different guides will weigh in, and then usually there's a picture of the direction the person should move in by the end. Like you'll have the person usually leaves with like maybe a deeper understanding, like and the way forward, certain things they want to pursue. Yeah, there's been sometimes heavy stuff comes up too, but it's always it's not so much at this, like what will happen tomorrow. It's more like at these higher realms of, what does for a better word, what does my soul want to pursue? And so I like a lot of people ask those questions. I've also been working lately. There are some processes that the guides have brought through. One is, kind of a soul reclamation. If you have a piece of your soul that maybe is a little out there that you're not as in touch with, you're always whole, but maybe it's in another dimension, and bringing that back to your conscious awareness would help you. I do have a process for that. It's also good for people who are in deep grief. And then also, I'm working on a new process I'm really excited about. It's pretty much ready for prime time. I just have to write the final notes up. I've been working on it a few months, and that helps. I'm using it on myself constantly, but it helps a person to experience their own energy in a way they've never felt before, more fully, so that when they come back to the earthly realms here in 3D world, when they're interacting with other people, they're not pulled off of themselves so easily, which is a client came to me with that, but it just turned out that I need it too. So I'm using this process on myself like constantly as I refine it. And the idea is that I could even do it in a group. It takes about 20 minutes. And once you have it, you can just run the recording on your own. So that's kind of a snapshot of me. I can clear spaces, not my favorite thing, and clear chakras, but really those other two things are like the processes that seem to be the most powerful.
Right.
So that's
And it is kind of funny because yesterday I had two separate conversations with two different healers. And it was so odd, the stuff that's showing up for them and all their clients, like both of them and myself. And now you're saying some of the same things. It's like we collectively start purging stuff from our consciousness that's of like the same, if that makes sense. So like we'll come in and we'll say, okay, well, right now, for example, we're all seeing self-esteem. Like, so like really heavy programs and patterns of feeling unworthy. And it's like all these emotions are coming up for everyone at the same time and are looking to be released. Well, the other thing that keeps showing up is soul retrieval, which is exactly what you're saying in this new process, because what's happening in all these different incarnations, as well as this lifetime in particular, is that we have specific traumas that it almost like stuns us. It's stunning. And part of you is like, oh, nuh-uh, I am not doing this. And an aspect of you literally leaves your body. And I didn't even really know this was a thing until I started doing more of this work. And it's like the energy bodies are just so fragmented. It's creating so many different issues, from like anxiety, lack of concentration, misalignment with soul contracts, all this sort of stuff. And this is where people like Kristen and some of my other healers can come in, and they're doing a really, really phenomenal job bringing those aspects back so you can live a more grounded, fulfilled life. But we are going to start moving into people, just because of time. I do want to start moving now into the actual readings. But has anybody here worked with the Akashic Records before? Okay, good. So I'm just going to sum it up real quickly. It's basically like the big spiritual library that houses every life, every moment, every emotion, every single thing that happens. You can go into the Akashic Records and access basically your soul blueprint and get any question asked that you want. Now, it doesn't mean that every question will be answered, nor will it be answered in the way that you expect or want it to be, because it's part of the journey. We're not here for the answers, we're here for the journey. But sometimes we do need that direction, because it's kind of easy to get off course sometimes, let's be honest. My introduction came to Akashic Records when I met a friend who wasn't a friend at the time. He was on Facebook. He's like, I do Akashic channeling. I'm like, this guy looks nice. Well, we get on the Zoom and I'm like, oh my God, we're friends. He's like, what are you talking about? I'm like, no, like we go like back. He's like, oh, okay. Well, we started working together and we've learned about all these different lives we have together. But he specifically was the one that introduced me to Akashic, because at the time I was so lost when it came to my work, my life, like nothing was working. And it was traumatic. It's like, how much effort can one person possibly put into something for nothing to work out ever? And Spirit was very specific about, okay, well, here's how we're going to align you. Here's how we're going to move you forward so you can start living in alignment with your highest blueprint. And I'm telling you, from that time to where I am now is like night and day. This is how I started tuning in with my gifts, tuning in with the career field I should be. It's improved my relationship with my husband. It's improved my relationship with my mother. Now, obviously, these are all still working pieces. It's not like you wake up the next day and everything's perfect, but I'm feeling happy. I'm feeling grounded. It's like crazy how amazing this resource is when you just open yourself up to it. So I'm hoping coming out of today that all of you can see that. And I'm hoping that some of this advice is really going to help you kind of make that shift and start walking in a direction that isn't a little bit more in alignment with your highest and greatest self. So with that being said, Kristen, I'll hand it over to you. I don't have any order for anybody. I'll just kind of let you go.
All right. Well, I can just read. The way I did it is I did about 15 minutes per person, and then I wrote it down in hand in pencil. So maybe I should just take it in the order that I happen to take the names in. I think they were on the spreadsheet, maybe that way. Okay, is Samantha? Are you here, Samantha? Hey, hi. Is it all right if I read your question? None of them were really too personal.
Sure, absolutely. That's what I'm here for. Thank you.
All right. All right. So the question was, is finding a life partner attainable, and is the home move she's been wanting on its way? Good question. And just in terms, oftentimes I'll get the sense that my guides will come forward to answer, usually in groups. And sometimes your guides will be there too. But in this instance, it was Mary Magdalene with Selu, who is one of my guides, a corn goddess, in Native American corn goddess, and Kuan Yin. So this was very strong, divine female energy that the three of them came together and spoke in concert. So I noted that. It stuck out at me. Okay, I also, one of the first things that showed up, and I'll throw it out there, I don't know what it means, but I saw a flag. It was green and white and orange with kind of, it looked to me like a dark blue sickle in the middle. When I did a Google after this morning, there's a number of countries that have green, white, and orange flags. It could be Eritrea, which is in East Africa, or it could be Ireland, to name a couple. But I noticed the Ireland one was talking about freedom and stuff. So you can have fun with that on Google yourself. It just flashed for a second, and I didn't pursue it further because I wanted to get to the answer of your question. So it says, I'm reading what I heard exactly. It says, we see for Samantha an unfolding and a weaving. And I kept seeing like a weaving fabric with different pieces of fabric woven. So I had that image next. There will be lessons and challenges that are integral to the creation of this fabric. At this moment, another set of guides came forward who of mine, are with me these days, called People of the Purple Light. And they're sort of loose. It's a collective kind of related to Saint Germain, but and the Pleiadians came forward. So a lot of guides started coming forward. Let's see. There are going to be challenges that are linked with a life partner. The reasons that you're going to have these challenges is, they said, it will burn off the dross, or sort of like anything extra, that you need to go beyond and beyond. They talked about it sounded like a yellow plane, or that you have to go to another plane to acquire the love that you're seeking. They reassured me all will be well. This deeper love she desires will come, and this tapestry it comes with will be varied. That is to say that each thread will contain its own note, color, and experience. And together, all these threads will deliver her at the place she desires. Some of the threads, they did tell me up front, are going to definitely be challenges and lessons. But you have to go through them to get there. You're not going to
say, hopefully no more of that.
You already know.
Hey. Oh yeah.
That's it. And then they went on to say, it is not so much the partner she seeks as the experience. Okay, so that seemed to be a very important point. Tell her she must fortify herself along the way. She must fortify, because these are going to be substantial challenges. She must fortify herself with belief. She should consider taking up a spiritual or religious choice, or one that she can explore her own faith. That the life partner will arrive as like through this. She won't recognize the partner otherwise.
Okay.
So let's see. The house, so this faith and for exploring your own faith seems to be, you know, a dependency here to being able to recognize this partner. The house can be tied up with the partner. We do not see this for her at this time. The currents of life are ever changing, however. If she focuses on it and the focus remains steady, it's attainable. It takes work on the earth plane. They said, we acknowledge that it takes work on the earth plane to have the income to own a house. So I'm like, oh, that's nice that they recognize that. Like we have to work on stuff. And it said this could be a positive thing for her. And that was the end of the reading.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right. And I just want to make a couple points about this since it's a educational workshop, because, you know, we have our, I would say, standard team of healers. Or, I'm sorry, team of healers, spirit guides, sorry. And these are the guides that are with us like at all times, but we are so much more deeply supported than that. And that's what Kristen's tuning into, because we have support from multidimensional beings, ascended masters, archangels. There's also all of these different realms of different consciousness. So we have, you know, the violet flame consciousness has recently come up for one of our clients that we were just working with. And I used that consciousness about a month ago. I called on it because I was going on like week 4 of being sick with a cold, and I had it. Like I really had this like massive meltdown. I called upon Saint Germain and the purple light. And I'm telling you, I got woken up that night. I could psychically see them come in to my body and start throwing out all these past lives in my consciousness that was creating the cold. And I felt better the next day. I couldn't believe it. So you're infinitely supported. This isn't just you like have this one spirit guide that does everything. So don't hesitate from calling on anyone you feel like you want to call on, is my point to that. And that's where all these beings are coming in. And the last thing I put this in the chat is that sometimes things do come up that make 0 sense, but they're not supposed to make sense. And I write all stuff down for my sessions, and then I'll come back to it a year later, or I'll remember something and it shows up for me later. It's like, oh, that's why that was implanted, because now I know to go this way. So I just wanted to make that clear too, because some stuff might come up today that you're like, what? So go ahead, Kristen, I'll give you the microphone back.
Yeah, and even like the house, it's to me, it felt like they weren't like ruling it out. They were just like, it seemed like a timing issue. They did see it as a positive, it could be a positive thing for you. So yeah. But what impressed me with that is how many came forward to speak on your behalf. We started out with the 3 biggies, right, and then more started pouring in. So clearly there's a lot of people, I like that infinite support.
Yeah, because they want us to succeed. They don't want us to flop and fail every second. You know, we're here to experience suffering, but we're not here to suffer all the time.
Yes. And you know, yeah, exactly. This life partner is tied in with your lessons, but yes, the answer is yes, it's attainable. Yeah. So like, don't lose sight of that. The answer is yes.
Okay.
Yes. And here's some other information.
Exactly. Well, thank you. Well, now we'll move on to the next subject.
Karina. Where's
Karina?
Hi.
Hi, Karina. Okay. Karina, hi. So your question that I had noted is, what are my gifts and talents that fulfill my soul purpose? All right. A lot of people asked about their soul's purpose. And I thought that's really lovely that like we're a group of people that actually care, you know, like it shows a certain level of elevation there that's what we're thinking about. So this one, the answers came pretty definitive really for everybody. So I'll just read it. Says she is to work with her hands. While that is not what she's currently doing, or if she is, she'll be doing it in a different way. This is a challenge. This is a challenge for her. We also recommend a soul retrieval, which we talked about that earlier on. And I do that. It's kind of a Native American process that it was given to me by my Native American ancestors from past lives. I had a lot of Native American past lives. So if you're interested in that, go through Mackenzie and we'll set one up. There are many aspects to really get to where she needs, she being you, of course, Karina, to be with these talents to fulfill her soul's purpose, meaning the aspects that we need to pull in. You need to pull in these aspects. That's why they're recommending the soul retrieval, to really cement the talents, and the talents are needed to fulfill your soul's purpose. She can reconnect with pieces of herself that would carry her along the way. Her soul's purpose is, they did answer the question, to enliven. She has the gift of zeal. Zeal is like a word for, an old-fashioned word for passion, kind of. It's also, I think, might be in the Bible, I'm not sure, but she has the gift of zeal, which is carried out through the hands. Again, with the hands. The soul's purpose is to spread light and fairy dust, for she has visited these realms. She can bring joy and love, especially to children who will be forever changed by her presence. Her soul will flow out like a waterfall. If she marries her marries her talents, it will reach, I think it was, if she marries her talents with your soul's purpose, it will reach a broader audience that carries the light very, very far, they're saying. She wishes in this lifetime, they're telling me, that she wished to participate with impact. And they underline the word impact for me. This is achievable, they told me. And that was the end of the reading.
Oh, wow. Okay. I got a little emotional. Mostly because it really resonated with me, especially the part with working with children. I was in school to work to be an elementary school teacher. Life got in the way and I'm not able to do that anymore. And I've always wanted to have a good impact, especially on kids. I love working with kids or being around with kids. So yeah, this is kind of crazy, but thank you for that.
Oh my God, that's so exciting for me too.
It was like right on the nose, right on the dot. Oh my.
You know, I just love hearing this because this is an act of love for me, what I'm doing. And you know, I have my moments where I'm like, you know, I have my moments of doubt too. So hearing the feedback from you guys makes me go, okay, I need to keep doing this. I need to keep walking this path. It keeps me on my path. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah. And the thing with the waterfall, what they showed me is like, they don't want you to think small. They're saying that you could reach, well, in business, they call it economies of scale, meaning that if you do the right formula with your talents, that you could like reach like millions of times bigger audience they don't want you to think small. They are recognizing you want to have an impact. So they would like, and they said it's achievable. That was the last thing they said. They said it very definitively. This is achievable. That was the last sentence. So,
Well, that's also another thing that I've always wanted to do, like do something like my own business of some sort, like do something myself. I don't want to be contained by other jobs or whatever, which is kind of why I'm feeling stuck right now. But hearing this, I feel like is going to help me. So
and the fact that they recommended a soul retrieval, I mean, there's lots of people that do it. I have my process, but I mean, it is in the light community, you know, but they are definitely recommending that for you.
I'm definitely going to look into that now.
Right. What a good
Well-
message for everybody too, because I work, okay, so my program, RTT hypnotherapy that I graduated from, we had, or have, I should say, an actual medical doctor within the program who's incorporated hypnotherapy into all of her patients' protocols. And she talks about how people that come with like the worst ailments, where she is physically seeing trauma in the body, the underlying denominator is, for those patients and clients, is that they're not in alignment with their heart's greatest desire and their life purpose. So you have to start listening to this stuff. Like, we are in a time-space reality where we can create. We've been through lifetimes and lifetimes of trauma, of crappy experiences, doing shit we don't want to do, but now is our time to do it. Not that it's going to be peachy, you know, peachy and easy, but you have to listen to what you really, really want to do. And there's always going to be some sort of roadblock, but there are processes in which to get past that. So Karina, I really encourage you to set those intentions and just go hard. Like, this is your time.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to try now.
Awesome. Well, if you need help, I've got some stuff inside Sōlchemy for you. It's free stuff. Check it out. I'll be in touch with you.
Yes, thank you.
All right.
All right.
Yes.
Next subject.
Michelle. Where's Michelle?
Hi.
Yes, hi. Well, let me tell you, your guide came especially through for you and has been hanging around for about 3 weeks. I didn't know who it was. And my mentor actually helped me identify it. And so I was like, Michelle has to be there. I'm going to be so mad if she's not there, because
Wow.
your guide's been waiting to get this message through to you.
Okay.
Like, and it's definitely not mine. I was like, talking to my mentor going, I don't know who this is, you know, it keeps showing up. And she's like, oh, it's such and such. So anyway, I'll just go ahead and read. So the question was, what's my main purpose is, and then the comma, family ties and ancestors. So any comments about that? And I definitely have comments. So I'll go ahead, 2.5 pages worth. So the first guide who came through was Hanu. The name is Hanu. And this is a guide of Vietnamese background. And apparently this guide, like, there's some ancestral ties. Like, I'll just go ahead. In your past lives, you had a lot of Asian incarnations. And so a lot of that will come into what they have to say. So this guide is kind of linked to those. Okay, so there are family ties and ancestors. She has lived many lives in the Orient. Therefore, the major tenets of Buddhism will appeal to her. Loving kindness and compassion. It says, this is the path she must pursue. This is Sorry, my phone's vibrating. I'm so sorry. This is the path she must pursue. This is her main purpose. Now, at this point so loving kindness and compassion, these are two very important concepts. At this point, my guide Kuan Yin, who is the goddess of compassion, is also more associated with the East. She came forward and started to join in. Oftentimes they talk together. Okay, and it says they call on her other guides. Okay, so they're calling on your other guides. The message here is there is some congestion in her family lines. This is where the matter of compassion and loving kindness enters. So that's important. There had been, in the past, there had been some hardships, even starvation, which led to the belief in a limited flow. So this is a past life, okay? A repeating pattern of feeling unworthy and making an association between circumstances which have no bearing on one's being and as an indication of one's worth. So it got all mixed up in there. This is a thought error as well as some ancestral work and even rituals which are indicated, a cleansing. So this is the area that needs to be cleaned up. And I'm sure Mackenzie can help you with that. I'm like, oh yeah, Mackenzie's all over this. Perhaps a past life reading to release, and then holding the awareness of what has been released. So that's another indication of what they'd like to see for you to do. I also do past life stuff, but Mackenzie does as well. There needs to be healing along the ancestral lines to bring her into true compassion, okay? Because you have all these past lives where these Buddhist concepts are very important. Her main purpose is to create the energetic linkages and awareness of these past lives so that other family ties can also be set free. She is a freedom maker, okay? Creating freedom for those around her to walk on paths, let's see, with a new understanding. So they showed me you're setting all these people free around you. She says when the rituals, she says they're telling me that you tell people when the rituals no longer make sense. So you're the one that points out when the people around you have these outmoded understandings. And that you give people permission to see with fresh eyes what is before them. This is a talent unique to her, okay? So this is unique. And whatever area she works in, she should trust it, use it, and actually lead with it. And that's the reading.
Thank you very much. Wow, that was really deep for me. Wow. The moment when you were talking about Buddhism, it's really crazy because I grew up in a Christian family, and I resonate with the Christian religion, but lately I've been looking for something else. And, I was like kind of, I guess, wary of what I should be choosing, because you never know like where your past lives have been or what's going on. But I've always felt connected to Buddhism, but like I never took the time to understand it and took the time to actually, get deep into it. So this was a confirmation for that. It was a big confirmation. Then towards the end, I started shaking because, I'm that black sheep in the family. People, see me so different, like, and friends around me, you know, my partner even. And the way I just express life is for people to be free, just be happy, you know, enjoy life, just be free. Don't be attached to this world. Don't be attached to problems. That's like what I preach on a daily basis. So that was a lot for me. Like, I'm literally shaking, like, wow.
Yeah, and they said, like, it's like this, you know, it's you're setting, she's freedom maker, creating freedom for those around her to walk on their own paths without outmoded understandings. So you're literally setting people free around you. Yeah.
That's really beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I love what you said, Michelle, about not being attached to problems in this world. I've never stated it that way, but part of me is like, that is kind of my work too. And I want to point out how difficult that actually is because of the identity that people have around their problems. And when you point out the simplicity of detaching yourself from it, I'm telling you, the unconscious shadow responses you get from people are like horrifying.
Yeah.
Like, I just did a healing session on my challenge with this. So you're not alone. I know it's more difficult than you think that it is.
Yeah.
But we're leading the way, Michelle. We're leading the way.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for that, Kristen.
Welcome. Yeah, and I enjoyed meeting Hanu.
I hope to see Hanu soon too. I'm gonna call on to him. Yeah.
Please do. He appeared to me as a line drawing of a gigantic, like a Buddhist, like you would see a statue or a Buddhist, how they're typically depicted. Sometimes he was so big, all I could see was his eye. But he's patiently waited. He was waiting like 3 weeks in advance. So, all right, the next is Kelly. Where's Kelly?
I'm here.
Hey.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. So your question, which was, how do I know when they are communicating with me? All right, good question. So, and they gave a lot of very specific answers, actually.
Okay. I love that.
Yeah. No, they got into it. They're very happy that you're asking that question, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, so it says, you will hear running water. That was the first answer. And then it goes on, as we have like 2 pages here. We will come to you in your dreams. And at that point, they talked about a dream I once had. They said, like this channels dreams, when I sensed that I had traveled elsewhere because it was truly a light place. So they reminded me of that dream and wanted me to share that with you. When I had that dream, I remember it to this day. I went to an island and it was like an otherworldly place. It was very, very light. So they wanted me to share that with you because maybe you're going to have a dream like that or have had one. It says there is an evanescent quality to her. They went on to talk about sacred, it says sound. There, they got really excited about this. Sound is a way we like to reach her. They talked about sacred sounds, nature sounds, crystal bowls. And actually, I think they liked the idea of these sacred sounds for you. But possibly the crystal bowls are all of the above. Nature sounds, crystal bowls. They might want you to play crystal bowls. I wasn't quite sure on that. I didn't lock in. It says we see that she played the harp in a past incarnation.
Oh. That's interesting.
We ask that when she hears a sound that she believes is in attunement to her, that she take a deep breath in and out and also check her sense of smell.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Okay, and they said the reason that the sound is such a good way that they like to reach you is because of the types of beings that you were in the past. So it's a good one for you. Then we ask okay, so take a deep breath in and out. When you sense you hear a sound, it's in attunement. Check your sense of smell. Then we ask she grow quiet and fall into a prayerful stance of listening. Listening without listening. Okay. Perhaps with a little smile on her face. Openness. Let's see. Openness with an inward hello from her heart. And okay, so go into a state of openness with an inward hello from her heart and watch what happens. We will wave back. They're very clear about that. We sincerely hope she is ready to receive our hello, because I said, is she ready to receive your hello? So I asked them. They said, we sincerely hope she is ready to receive our hello. The people from the purple light and her own guides from the Draco regions came forward. They instructed me to tell you to listen for your own North Star. And they suggested that I introduce you to the idea of the star called Thuban, which used to be one of Earth's North Stars, and it's associated with the Draco region. But they said, if you listen for your own North Star, you will hear our clarion call more clearly. She is, because you had been with them for a long time and are kind of them. She's had other guides since birth, they wanted to point out. They formed the people who are contacting you have formed a bridge to you 5 years ago when the Earth started to go through changes. We wish her to wake up and assist. Practices aligned with her own intuitive acts of faith to open her. So they're talking about you opening. We see that since she asked this question, she is wanting this. We are very much listening and answering. We have been in her life in bigger ways prior. And then the last thing was just kind of a strange little add-on. They talked about childhood issues. They said, do work on healing these that would help her in this life, which would make, they said, although it's not imperative to your awakening, but it would make your awakening less bracing.
Wow. That's crazy. Me and my siblings have been discussing like our childhood, like traumas and issues, and we always thought we had like great childhoods, but now that me and my sister look back on it, we realize that there were a lot of like emotional now too, but there were a lot of just like sad moments that I look back on, and it kind of makes me want to cry a little bit because I just feel bad for my younger self. But yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this for a while as well. Me and my sister have, but I don't know. I guess I don't want to confront it that much.
Yeah, they see that would alleviate some discomfort.
Yeah.
In this
so.
life.
And also, when I shower recently this past week, I've actually been playing those little meditation bowls. Like when I shower, I'll play a little podcast of that once this week. And I don't know why, but it just seemed nice to do. But that's interesting that they brought up sounds a lot, because I've been kind of like getting into that. That's crazy though.
Yes. Well, they are with you. They want you to wake up, and they're really happy that you want this for yourself.
Yeah. Wow.
So you're not
Thank
alone.
you. Yeah. I've always asked for signs, but I see the ones a lot, but I think that's kind of like at this point cliche. So I've always wondered if there's like other things that I could look out for that I know is like a sign that they're around or communicating with me. So I've always wondered.
Yeah, and they were pretty specific there about what you should do. Like,
Yeah.
they gave a lot of concrete examples,
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I was really happy with that. Yeah, I thought it was good. I liked their answer, so I'm happy for you.
Thank you.
It's
Yeah.
like all of these guys are like jumping in. They're like, finally, we have an outlet, this workshop. We got to like shake our people up already. Because I'm telling you, people always complain. They're like, well, my guides aren't communicating with me. Yes, they are. You're not listening. We should almost do just a workshop on teaching people how to connect with their spirit guides.
Yeah,
Wouldn't that be awesome?
yeah,
That would be
yeah.
cool.
Yeah, it would be. Great idea.
But
Okay,
quick tip before we move on, Kristen.
yes.
You know, there's really one thing that you guys need to do. You just have to give your guides permission to intervene. Because of our ability to have choice, our free will, they can't just step in, but work with them, collaborate with them, tell them, intervene, help me resolve this issue, communicate with me this way, and really start bringing like what am I trying to say? But really starting to fine tune that relationship you have with your guides, because trust me, they're like dying to intervene.
Mhm.
We just forget to give them permission.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, they get so excited when like we call upon them.
Oh yeah.
They like love us so much. It's unbelievable. They're like little sweet, I don't know, they're like, the best child, the best loving animal, the best all rolled into one. So I have Maria/Rosie Pierce. Okay. Okay. So hi.
Hey, thank you. I'm so sorry I was a little late. I was getting out of a meeting.
That's
I
okay.
made it.
And then, okay, well, we are ready. Okay, so the question is, let's see, what is my soul's purpose? Good question. So it says, what I wrote down. When the dawn comes, there will be a sense of a new day ahead. That was the first sentence that came through. Your soul's purpose is one of renewal. As the sun passes around the moon, which I pointed out to them, it doesn't work that way. And then they said, they changed it to as one planet orbits around another. So they showed me immediately I was in outer space and there was this planet and it was orbiting. And I don't know how to tell you this, but I got the strong sense that you were the planet, actually. Let's see, as one planet orbits around another, she is orbiting, and it is a beautiful arc. It is a beautiful celestial song. I had an inkling that there might be an Andromedan background, if you believe in or are interested in the different interdimensional beings, but I didn't pursue that more because I just wanted to get on with your purpose. She wishes to experience the denser energies. Her purpose is to survive it.
Like us all.
It says, she is a newer soul, yet she is comfortable in this community. The community can remind her of her origins. It's important for her to understand the concept of star seeds, or she might become, I think they said, disillusioned. Okay, so you might be interested to find out about star seeds or interdimensional beings. It might be important for you.
Okay.
Her own Earth family will not fulfill what she is longing for.
I know this already.
As, career is an avenue that will bring satisfaction. She is a worker that enjoys work. Her soul would like to find ways to be industrious within the density. Let's see. And I think it looks like I wrote down quick mover. Let's see. She wants to experience drag. And at this point, I was back out in outer space, seeing this planet just moving really fast as it orbited. She wants to understand speed and the very basics of physics. She would do well as a mathematician or scientist in the sciences. Once she understands, let's see, this I started writing really small. Once she understands what she discovered about moving forwards and being industrious, when it turns to drag, they were saying that you should share that with others. She could share this information with others once she understands about moving forwards and being industrious when there is drag, and how the drag is not really real, they pointed out. And that you wouldn't, I got the sense you would intuitively understand this, being the planet that you are that's moving so fast. So it's like this, you wanted to understand density because I guess you hadn't experienced that before, because you're just hurtling through space so fast. But the drag is not really real. Because an important understanding is there are larger forces at play. And that's how you know that the drag is not really real. This is a truth for her that will help. It's not so much a purpose as an experience she is looking for in this lifetime. And it says, they were very, the last line is, they said, it's been a pleasure contemplating her. We look forward to meeting her at the workshop. Oh. And I just wrote down in my own notes, she's a planet.
I love that. That is so amazing. I wrote everything down so I can kind of take this and start doing my own research, because I do legitimately enjoy working and keeping busy. And so this is kind of a lot for me to look into, and I really appreciate that and your time. Thank you so much.
Sure. You're welcome.
Isn't that fun? It's like people will say to me like, oh, well, who was I in a past life? And I'm like, let's go a little deeper than that. Like, we're not from Earth. Yeah, we've had all these multiple lifetimes, but it's crazy once you start learning where you're really from and who you are, and even how we can make just the whole concept of consciousness itself is so fascinating. Like, oh, I was a planet, or I was this.
Yeah,
It's like even beyond my comprehension. I'm like,
I know, it's beyond mine too, really. I mean, you know. Yeah.
So if this is a little out there for you, it is for me too.
Yeah.
Don't worry.
And you can all of these things, you can think about them as, I mean, you could also just, if it's too much for you, you could just think about like as a metaphor almost, like, okay, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Do we have, I know Jessica is not here.
And I do, if she ever comes through, I have, I have a lot of pages for her. I did her this morning. So
Okay.
I'm happy to, if she wants them, maybe we could find a way to get it to her, or I could read it into an MP3 and just text it to you or something, just because it's done.
Okay. Well, that sounds great. Well, then I think that sort of sums it up. I really hope that these messages from your guides were helpful and gives you a little bit of a broader picture on how this type of work can really help enhance your life, create alignment, just give you a place of focus instead of being so like scrambled all the time. But with that being said, does anyone have any questions before we close this up? Okay. All right. Well, thank you so much for everyone for attending. I will be sure to check you all at the next workshop.
It was a pleasure.
Thanks,